So in this series of videos, we're going to take you through the processing of GNSS and total station data for our topographic survey workflow. So we'll cover importing the data, adjusting the data, QCing the data, and then this will be applicable to a lot of our customers is actually applying the line work from the feature code library, creating models, and ultimately producing a topographic survey deliverable. So the key thing to get started with TBC is having a suitable template. Now, a lot of the time you will have saved a template that saves your favorite settings. Now, rather than going through what the favorite settings will be, we'll cover the settings during the series of videos. And when you identify which particular settings suit your application best, then you can combine these into a template. But generally, I have two templates set up. If it's total station only data, generally I would have set up a template that's got scale factor 1. And then if it's got GNSS data, generally I'll always start with Ordnance Survey. And then of course I may then take it on to a local site later on. If it's got combined data, once again, I would generally start with an Ordnance Survey template. So I'm going to start with the template, and then I'm going to navigate to where I've got the raw data. And I've got two jobs here. They're both actually combined total station and GNSS jobs. And one of the nice things about TBC, it's very easy to get data into the project. So it's simply a case of dragging and dropping into the plan view of the project. And then if we click, generally this is very common for this to come up, and it basically, TBC will identify even very, very small differences in settings between what you've got set up in the field software Trimble Access compared to its own database of settings. So generally here, it's just warning me there might be a difference. If I want to see what the differences are, I can just hit details, and I can see that they're broadly the same, but the key setting is the one in the field thus has a different project height. Now, project height is a setting that's actually not very important most of the time for surveying in this country where elevations are generally very small. So we can just say keep the existing project, and I can say OK to that. And the second job, I'm just going to keep the existing project. So it remains at Ordnance Survey. Often what I'll also see in this page is if there are points that are the same, named the same, but with different coordinates outside a certain tolerance, it will warn me whether I want to merge them or not. And generally what we would do here is that the general principle with Trimble Access and Trimble Business Center, if the points are the same physical point, then name them the same. If they're not the same physical point, then make sure that you don't have duplicate point numbers. So when I import the data, what I basically see in the plan view is I'll see my RTK vectors in blue, and I will see any total station observations or any total station vectors in green. So we can see that this is obviously a combined GPS and total station job. In my flags window, which is at the bottom of the screen, I can toggle that off and on just by clicking the flag in the bottom of the screen, and it's giving me any warnings, any out of tolerance reports. So anywhere we've got redundant data in any way and the observations disagree by, or the observations on any attached coordinates disagree by more than that tolerance, then we'll get an out of tolerance report. We'll also see any things like here we've got mean turned angle out of tolerance report. So we've actually got rounds of angles and they're falling outside the tolerances that we set, then we'll see those here as well. And then I'm also seeing here that we've got a feature code library that's not been recognized. If I want to address that, then I can just hit the settings tab up at the top, or settings cog. We can go to the feature code library and we can see that this is missing, and we can browse to our feature code library if we know where it is. So the one I'm using here is this one here. And we'll just import that. So the next video will look at reviewing the data and the steps and processing thereafter.